jump straight in at first, right? This is the first time I've had two ladies on at the same time, or two people speaking
Oh,
to two people at
really?
the same time. So
Okay.
thank you for allowing me to reach a milestone.
Oh, pleasure.
Do you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction, because you're probably going to give yourself more justice than I will, and people still don't understand what I'm saying without the subtitles on. So, ladies, the floor is yours.
Rightio. Well, we are the Two Raw Sisters. We are based here in Christchurch, and our whole philosophy is inspiring people and educating people around how they can incorporate more plants into their everyday lives and how they can create a happy, healthy, and sustainable lifestyle that they can maintain forever. So by that, it's a little bit like we don't really follow any particular diet. Yes, we're a plant-based business, but Rosa and I aren't vegan or vegetarian ourselves, and we have no judgment around whatever diet people choose to follow. But our goal is to help people incorporate as many plants into their everyday lives as possible.
Wow, how did you get started on that?
Well, it's been a bit of a journey, actually. Margo and I, we've kind of come, obviously we are sisters. A lot of people actually don't realize that we are sisters. But the reason why Two Raw Sisters was kind of created was through our own personal health journeys. We both went through quite different ones, which we can touch on a bit later in more detail. But Marg had endometriosis and chronic fatigue, and I was an elite athlete for New Zealand for about 8 years, and developed a syndrome called REDS, which is relative energy deficiency in sport. And it's a mix of low energy availability, amenorrhea, and low bone density. So both going through that for, 2 to 3 years and dealing with those issues ourselves. We went over to America together and studied a plant-based culinary school, and then realized that, there's what we're doing to our bodies is not sustainable, and that there are other people out there going through exactly the same issues as what we're going through, and it's hard when you're alone and you don't feel like there's anyone around you to talk to about it. So Two Raw Sisters, we just started talking to people, educating people around how to create a happy, healthy, sustainable lifestyle, and it's just evolved from there, which is really cool. I think everyone can relate to a story or an experience, and I think that's what touches people a lot, because Two Raw Sisters is based off our own personal experiences, and it's it's really inspiring and motivating for people to hear what we've been through and where we've come to and developed as individuals and as a business. Yeah,
that's beautiful. I think people connect through stories. Like, I'm 100% in agreement, and I think there's a lot of like wisdom and lessons laced within them, and we're able to connect and empathize with one another through those feelings, right? And that's crazy how you had to, first of all, you had to go through those conditions. Are you okay now?
We've both come through the other end. Obviously it's just a matter of now, I think things like that with the endo and the chronic fatigue and having an eating disorder and a training obsession, you never really overcome it fully. I think it's just a way of learning how to manage it and being aware of when you go back into your old symptoms and habits, and just to catch yourself and do something about it early, rather than going down that pathway again and ending at rock bottom. We've had it long enough now to know our trigger points, and a big thing for us was gut health and focusing on the right types of food. And there's obviously a lot of research with the gut that it is a direct link to the brain. So, if your gut health isn't right, then that can affect your mental health. So that's where we found food one of the most helpful tools. And it's interesting, like for me with my chronic fatigue and endo, if I haven't been eating right, I know it can most likely be related to my gut health and what I'm eating. So it's just being really in tune with your body, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Reading the signs, feeling the signs.
That's spot on. Like, we are organic things, and we try to, well, the body tries to send you signals, and most of the time everything, especially sport, right, it tells you to ignore those signals and to disregard them. I was like, fantastic if we're going for performance, but if we're going for lifestyle and health and being able to live a long and healthy lifestyle, then you probably need to, like, listen to those things and try and decipher them.
It's so interesting because so many people are used to living like a life at 50%, but that's not normal, but it's the norm for everyone else. And it's like, if you're feeling sick after a food, or if you're feeling bloated after eating something, then it's actually investigating that and realizing that it can be the particular food that you've just eaten and how much of an impact it can have, so that you live up to like 90% of your capacity or whatever.
And just because it's been like that for a long time doesn't mean it's normal.
Absolutely. And stress and tiredness have become a norm, but it's so not a norm.
Preach. Like honestly, the amount of people that come into the gym, and I've had the honor of seeing people face to face, and from all areas of life, right? Old, young, international athletes, people that can barely even move, and coming over here now, you got like the Pacifica population, which is fucking incredible. There's a lot of African back home. There's basically everyone everywhere, and the stuff that you hear which people consider as normal, I'm like, no, you being in pain 24/7, or you feeling like sick or tired or whatever 24/7, just because that's your normal does not mean it's normal.
But the issue is then getting people to then action their issues and what's happening within their body, because to some people it's just in the too hard basket, or the excuse of I don't have time, I'm too busy, and then that can just keep on going and going and going, and then there comes to a point where people actually hit rock bottom and they actually have no choice but to make a change.
It's trying to catch people before they hit rock bottom, right? And unfortunately, sometimes it's the best help you can do is give them no help at all and allow them to catapult back up.
Exactly. Sometimes they have to go through it all to actually realize, which is the sad thing, but everyone's kind of in their own wee world sometimes, aren't they?
100%. Like, hindsight is a bitch, but it's also beautiful. You get to learn from your own mistakes, and unfortunately human beings are rather dumb. Like, we have to make the mistakes ourselves, right? Rather than being able to be like, okay, we've made this mistake for 1,000 years, we're probably not going to go down that path. We need to do that and figure it out ourselves. But well, I am blonde, so that's probably just me.
Failures a lot of the time, when we both look back, are actually the best things that have happened and have shaped us into creating the lifestyle that we have today, or creating Two Raw Sisters, or whatever it is. People shouldn't be afraid of failing.
So how would you advise someone on that journey then, that maybe suffering a little bit of like the stress or tiredness or whatever, and they're like, I kind of want to do this, but it's normal, and I've got a little bit of comfort in my life? Like, what would you say to them?
I think there's it's funny, it'll change depending on whatever person you ask, and there's so many different things and tools out there to help people, but I think it's my number one advice would be, like, you are you, and you are the only one that'll know what works best for you, and whether it's trial and error with lots of different things, and something may be amazing for someone else, but it may not work for you. So it's just, for me, it's doing trial and error and figuring out what suits your lifestyle best. So a great example is, I always thought Rosa and I, we're sisters, we're humans. What suits her will suit me. But we're so different now that I know, and I've learnt that my body's not made for HIIT training, or my body's not made for running. I can't work long hours because I have endometriosis, and HIIT affects that, and I have chronic fatigue, so I can't work too long. So it's just figuring out what works best for your body, because everybody's body is so different.
And I think a big thing is, like, when people go to make a change, they kind of expect it to happen overnight, and if it doesn't happen within a week, say, then it's like, oh, well, this isn't working, I'm just going to give up, it's in the too hard basket. Whereas you've got to, be consistent over a decent period of time for you to see changes. And it might be a matter of like writing down the changes that you make, because small changes can make such a difference if you are aware of those. So that's like Margo and her endo and chronic fatigue, and it took ages for her to figure out what works for her and what medication, and who her best person is to see to seek advice. And it's not an easy game, but eventually, if you stick to it, you'll get to the end of it.
It was interesting. I had this conversation with someone the other day around like Western medicine versus the natural side, and just going on to what Rosa said with my endo. And I got given the pill from my gynecologist, and I was like, oh, I'm not taking that. That doesn't work for me. Like a synthetic drug that shuts down all my ovaries and hormones doesn't sit right with me. I want to do it a natural way, because I don't want to just put a band-aid on the issue. I want to actually fix the core of the issue. And yes, I tried so many different people, and yes, it cost me money, but in the long run, it's going to pay off, because I'm going to be going off all my medication soon. And it's taken 4 years to get there, but rather than being on medication my whole life, I'll only have to be on it for 5 years.
That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm stoked.
I'm not in horrific pain.
Like, yeah, it's funny. I had a bit of a weird track record. Some ladies I dated quite a few years ago, like literally 3 of them in a row. I'm talking over like 5 years, but 3 of them in a row all had endometriosis. And I remember one lady, before I ended up moving over here, like it used to fuck her up. Like she would be on the floor. I'd be like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, I can't move. I was like, how long have you been there? Like, oh, I don't know, like 3 hours, 4 hours. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's like, how do we do this? And it blows. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
It's like it doesn't just have to be endo. It can be something as simple as stress or tiredness. Like people think there's surely a pill or something they can take, but maybe it's actually reevaluating your lifestyle, and maybe the exercise you're doing isn't working for you, or you've got to reassess your diet, or people just think it's a pill and it's medicine, but sometimes the best medicine is actually realizing what suits your body.
Yeah, for sure. We love quick fixes, right? We like a case study, and we like to be able to follow it A through to Z and be like, okay, this is exactly what I need. And I'm like, well, no, everybody's different, and every body is different, right? And some people, might do really, really well with some synthetic medication, and fantastic, high five, and I hope it helps. And then other people might need to go down a different route, and it's a longer road. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I had a very good conversation with a mate of mine quite a few months ago now, and she was on about seed cycling for like fixing your periods. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever heard about that?
No, never heard about it. I'll have to look it up.
Seed cycling,
like, legit blew my mind. Right? Again, because I'm not a female, right? So I don't experience this. So I like to have conversations about it, so then I can understand it, especially because I'm a coach, right? Like I coach females, so I need to be able to understand what is going on inside of them to be able to correctly prescribe the exercise that I want them to do, right? And she was like, I can't remember off the top of my head, but cycling certain seeds every day and every week or month can end up kind of stabilizing things. I'll dig it out, and I'll message you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so many women underestimate their cycle and the power it has, and it's really like your monthly report card on how your body's doing.
Oh, sure. Have you read what's it called? It's literally next to me. Hold on. Like the period repair manual. Have you read that?
Yes, Lara Bryden. That's who I saw. That's who she changed my life.
Yeah, that's a good book. That's heavy. There's a lot of things I didn't understand.
But we've been listening to quite a few podcasts around today, and how so many women think that it's okay to not be menstruating, but it's so not okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like that monthly report card analogy, I think is a beautiful one. It like okay, am I healthy? Yes or no? Right.
And it's
Rather
also,
than
sorry,
no,
it's
go.
you know, during your period and ovulating, it's treating your body the way that it needs to be treated during the different times throughout your cycle. I think, you know, Marg and I, we've been doing quite a lot of research around it, and just within it for ourselves, but also to share with other people. You know, sometimes a part of your cycle where you just need to be snuggled up in bed and not do anything. But the crazy thing is that people just feel guilty doing that. And again, I'm too busy. I don't have time to, you know, be conscious of what my body is telling me, which is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. And that guilt will end up manifesting into, you know, overworking the other weeks of the month, right? And then it usually ends up shooting yourself in the foot. Like
Exactly.
I think it's fascinating that, like, human biology is fascinating, whether it's male or female or whatever. It's fascinating as it is. And then also like how like you ladies have gone down, how your individual body then reacts to individual things that you put inside of it, which is ultimately just fuel.
Yeah, exactly.
Very interesting.
Wow. So I'm gonna have to ask, what's your favorite veg?
Mine is probably eggplant. Eggplant or broccoli.
Yeah, I was just gonna say broccoli. I love a classic broccoli.
You can do a lot with it.
Are you gonna steam it? You're gonna boil it? You're gonna roast it? What are you gonna do with it?
Definitely roast.
Raw,
or stir fried.
Oh, you add the two raw sisters.
Give raw broccoli a go.
We've got lots of delicious recipes. It's amazing what you can do with the broccoli. We continue to come up with multiple different broccoli recipes.
It amazes me.
This was years ago. I made broccoli hummus one time, and it was actually phenomenal.
Yum. I just made a pea hummus today. That's pretty darn good too. Are you into cooking?
I'm into cooking. Well, the thing is, because I eat so much, I kind of have to, but also because I eat so much, I'm sick of cooking. So mine is just, how quickly can I get it done? What can I get, like, the most nutrient dense, but for speed, and kind of then just shovel it in me, and that's about it. If I'm cooking for someone else,
sorry, carry on.
No, I was just gonna say, if I'm cooking for someone else, I can kind of enjoy it, you know, and stick some tunes on and like kind of zone out. But if I'm cooking for myself, I fucking hate
it. Yeah, I think that's the big thing for us as well, and that's where we like to keep stuff relatable with food, because people don't want to be in the kitchen 3 times a day, 7 days a week. So it's
making things in advance and then just storing them in your fridge for 3 or 4 days, so that you don't have to be in the kitchen every single day.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a game changer.
It is a game changer.
Food prep is a game changer.
Yes, for sure.
I just run out of containers.
It's not just your steamed broccoli and grilled chicken. It's something a bit more exciting than that.
Yes. I'm one of those weirdos though that I like through the week I don't really care how it tastes. Yeah. Like I'll just get it done. You know what I mean? I eat rapid anyway, so it's usually gone within a blink of an eye. But
you wait till you make it to Rosa Sisters.
You sound like our cousin. He's a bit like that. He's a rugby player, and he just bloody hoovers down the food.
Yeah, legit. What's the point putting it from the pot onto a plate into your stomach? Why don't you just take the pot and then just eat it out of the pot? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Why not? That's what I do sometimes.
You look a little bit animalistic, but if you live on your own, it's fantastic because you just get it done. No, but definitely. I think cooking with veg, right? I think the best part about it is learning how to use spices.
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that. Margo and I use spices a whole heap. It's a very cost-effective way to add a lot of flavour into things. So we always say, if in doubt, we're roasting something, chuck in some smoked paprika or cumin, or if you're stir-frying something, do the same. Even like your garlic and ginger, your soy sauce or tamari and sesame oil, they're all amazing additions to anything that kind of lifts it up a whole nother level, but doesn't take a lot of effort. I think, especially if you're someone who just wants to have food on the table in 10 minutes.
Yeah, people think, like, when they hear the term plant-based, they think, oh, it's so expensive, it's so difficult, so time-consuming, but it's really not. Well, our recipes aren't anyway. We try use cost-effective ingredients that everyone should have at home already, but just teaching them new inventive ways on how to use them in a fast way. It'll last. And
it's plants, so you can grow it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I think, you know, for us, like what a whole unprocessed diet means for us is like basing our meals around plants and then adding our meat on the side if we choose to, and everything in moderation. So on the weekend, not being afraid to have a pastry or a good, we're suckers for ice cream, aren't we? I think so many people start their meals with their meat, and then the meat is the main thing, and then the veggies are just the boring side. But we want to flip that around, because obviously there's so much research and evidence that plants can increase our mental and physical health.
When you start your meals, do you always think about the meat component first?
Me?
Yeah, like when you're like, oh, what am I getting for dinner? You'll be like chicken, fish, or...
Personally, I look at it over the span of a day. I'm a little bit different because obviously I've been in the fitness scene a while and through sport and all that nonsense. But I'm like, have I eaten enough protein? Have I eaten enough carbohydrates? Have I eaten enough fat? Have I eaten enough greens? I'm going to say greens in quotation marks because, you know, just nutrients in a nutshell. And then kind of base my meal around that. Like, breakfast is usually the same shit anyway, so I can kind of just go from there. But I usually just eat twice with a little bit of a snack in the middle of the day. But because I can't really, if I do smaller meals, I feel a bit lethargic. Usually I'm a little bit clouded mentally. And like, I like to run off empty, if that makes sense. Like cognitively, I'm a lot more awake. I'm faster, like upstairs. And I can get a load of work done, and then I like to like backload all the food because it usually puts me into a coma, and then I just go to sleep.
And like that's another thing, like fasting works so well for some people, but like for some people it doesn't as well. Like for us, we're like pieces of shit in the morning if we haven't had breakfast, you know. So again, it's just listening to your body and doing what works best for you.
100%. Like I would just say, hey,
I was just going to say, everyone's got different nutritional requirements depending on what they do on a day-to-day basis. And like Mug touched on earlier, you know, everybody is so different, and don't think that, oh, that girl's got such a great figure, I'm going to eat what she eats. I'm going to exercise how she exercises. It's like you know, you've got your own unique body shape, and no matter what you do to it, that's you, and you just you have to accept it and love it.
Yeah, and I think the journey of self-discovery is a really fascinating thing, right? Whether you're going through emotional self-discovery, mental, whatever, but it's fascinating because you're like, oh, wow, like naturally, so my nature, this is how I work. Wow, that's interesting. How can then I use that to benefit me? And then how can I like use what are my limitations to then work with them to, again, benefit me, right? And then you can go down the path of like nurture, like you said, with all the sport. And it's like, okay, well, because of what has happened from experience, how do I then learn from that and grow forward? But
for sure. So funny, so many people ask us if we would ever take back our health journeys or wish we never had them, but I definitely wouldn't take them back because I've learned so much about myself.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Like growth and lessons.
Wow. It's amazing. That is amazing. People don't.
What do you mean?
I just think self-discovery is amazing. I think a lot of people kind of put it off or are almost too scared to get to the bottom of an issue or whether it's your mental health or your physical health or whatever. It's not easy to get started for sure, but once you're on that journey, it's revolutionary, really.
Well, it's scary, right? Like you've got to uncover and dig up a lot of things that you might not necessarily like about yourself, which isn't a pleasant experience, right? And usually once you figure that out, you're like, oh, this isn't a one-time thing. I'm going to have to keep on doing this. So I'm going to have to keep on going through an unpleasant experience, like for the rest of my life, if I want to keep on growing. But like,
well, that's the thing, confidence, isn't it?
Yeah. And like self-awareness is a superpower. You know, like it all starts from that. I think the greatest thing a human being can have is self-awareness, you know, like that is full stop. If I was going to be able to give you one superpower, I'd be like, figure out who you are. That's it. You've got like 2 goals or 2 jobs or roles on this earth. Figure out who you are and never fucking forget it. That's it.
Yeah. So I think especially with social media, so many people are following the next best person or whatever, but if it's not them, it's very obvious, or you can see it. Like if you know yourself, you can definitely see someone who doesn't know themselves. They stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, or you just don't let it get to you. You're just like, oh no, I'm content with who I am and what I'm doing, and I'm happy to be on my journey and not getting caught up in someone else's journey and wanting to be like someone else's, because that's the worrying thing around especially the younger generation now, with all the social media and people post their best pictures on Instagram, and you can easily get caught up in it. I did, and
I agree. I think it's a fantastic tool to be able to create connection and increase that, but you have to have done work with yourself to be in a place to take the positives from it rather than the positive and the negative. Like it's too easy to fall into that comparison game, and we all know comparison is a thief of joy, or we've all heard it before, right? Whether you understand it or not could be different. I think honestly, if I was going to say to anyone what everyone needs to do, everyone needs to like sit on their own and kind of send themselves a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, someone once said to me that a very good challenge for yourself is to go and sit down in a restaurant and have dinner on your own and be content with it and enjoy your own company. People are always like, oh my God, like imagine if I had dinner on my own, like what would people think of me?
But I freaking love having dinner on my own.
You just need to embrace it and enjoy your own company. I think it's great.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it being weird that you go on your own and feed yourself so you stay alive, that thing that it's being weird is weird, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Exactly, but it's what people then think, like they assume or have this assumption that people are going to think that they're a loner, or what are they doing with, like all these things that pop up into your head that are stopping you from going and doing such a normal thing.
Well, I would challenge that thought of the sense of, okay, people have the right to do whatever they want, right? And people have the right to judge you. Let's be honest. People have freedom. They have the right to judge you. But if that's the case, you also have the right not to give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Do you, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you do you.
You missed out the boo.
Boo, you do you, boo.
There you go. That's the fucking, what was it, Instagram, TikTok or something? Everyone was saying it. You won't catch me dead saying that. No.
Neither.
You just did.
Yeah. At 1-0. No, I think confidence as well that you gain from that, and you know that if everything else around you fell apart, that you would be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely a very empowering thing to know when you know you've found yourself.
Was there any specific processes that you ladies went through to get to that place? Was it just the conditions, or?
I had to get to rock bottom before I kind of did anything about it. And a big part of my recovery journey, I went and did a degree in human nutrition, learning about the importance of your body and hormones and your essential nutrients and your macros, your micros, and why we need them. And then again, it was just this whole self-discovery journey and learning to be more aware of your signs and symptoms of going down your old habits. Talking to people was a big thing for me as well, expressing my feelings and thoughts, and, you know, getting help when I need it.
It's powerful.
Yeah, it is powerful. I found that. And even when I then went to go and talk to other people, realizing how much it could help them, which also gave me confidence in sharing my journey as a good to do. Yeah. But yeah, I did a lot of like writing down and journaling, and that helped me, and just, yeah, listening to my body, I suppose. Being kind to it.
Yeah, I think mine was quite different to that. Mine was quite holistic. I think I went to this lady, and I mean, people can believe in this stuff or they don't have to, but I enjoy it. Like, she was measuring my energies and they were just everywhere, and that's when she kind of introduced me to gut health, and then from there on, and it's been almost a like a very internal feeling for me, and that internal feeling being, is this right or is this wrong? Yeah, and I think really going with that gut feeling and getting the signs from your body with, hey, this doesn't actually work for you, or this works so well for you.
I'm all about that energy, man.
Yeah, and not comparing that to anyone else like we've just talked about, but really sticking to your gut feeling and what you think is best for you.
I think way back when, humans used to have a sixth sense, right? As with animals usually still have it, but we now rely on logic, right? We apply logic to a world that's paradoxical, let's be honest. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And we call it intelligence, right? And I think we've lost touch with our own selves and our own balance in that way. I'm rather spiritual as I'm digging myself down this rabbit hole. Pull me out anytime you want to. That's fine. But I think if you feel like something isn't right, or if you feel like something is right, it is usually correct, right? And we all say, oh, listen to your gut, listen to your heart, whatever one you want to say, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. And it's just trying to, you know, get in tune with yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so
that.
Like, my partner always says, oh, you just know yourself so well when something's not feeling right. And I'm like,
fantastic.
Yeah, because I trust that feeling. And I'm like so super aware of it, because I know what it feels like to feel shit, and I know what it feels like to feel great. And if I'm somewhere in between, or if I'm somewhere rock bottom, then
you'll do something about it.
I know what I need to do.
Totally.
Got your practice in place.
They used to call them witches.
Witches.
Yeah, they used to call them witches. Now we just call you crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
No, who was it? Who was it? Dr. Zeus? No, it was out of fucking Alice in Wonderland, when they say the best of us are crazy, something like that. That I've completely butchered that.
But then that's the thing. People think for being in tune with your body, you are crazy, but you're just being in tune.
Yeah, that should be a norm.
I think. Well, look at the norm, right? Society will dictate you do a 9 to 5 that you don't like. You go do an activity outside of your 9 to 5 that numbs you, so you don't feel too much, you don't really care too much. So then you can go back to your 9 to 5 and trade your time for money that doesn't even exist. That is normal, quote unquote. Like, if not doing that is classed as crazy, then yeah, I'm fucking mental. No problem. Like, you know, it's kind of,
Yeah, exactly.
how do you want to live your life? I want to live my life as a fish in the ocean. Fantastic. Go live it that way. How do you want to live your life? I want to be an accountant and do a 9 to 5 and work all the hours under the sun. Go do that. Fantastic. What do you want to do? Like, just self-acceptance starts with self-awareness, right? And then digging through that. But then self-acceptance, man, like, you do whatever you want to do, live and let live.
Yeah. I mean, it's self-acceptance, and it's also accepting what other people want to do as well. Like for the past few years, it's been work's been our priority, and a lot of our friends haven't understood that. You know, so
but it's paid off.
It's respecting other people's
decisions
and their
way of life
as well, you know.
Yeah, 100%. That's, you know, everyone wants you to fit a mold, right? We want everyone to fit into a square hole when a lot of us are circles or triangles or rectangles.
Yeah, like why is she working or she does nothing? It's like, well, that's what they've chosen to do with their life, and respect that decision.
Everyone's got their own unique pathways that they're on, and everyone's at different stages of them, aren't they?
It's like if you see a flower that you like, right, in the garden, beautiful flower, say a rose, okay, and you're like, oh, it's a beautiful rose. What do? Do you pull it out? Like, because it's going to die.
Leave it there.
100%. Leave it there. Let it, you know, nurture it. Yeah, okay, but let it do its thing. It's gonna blossom into this fantastic thing. Same thing with people, right? What do? Do you find someone that you kind of like, and then you just like grab hold of them, take them out of their situation, and just be like, okay, you're like, I own this now. You're like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, no, like, nurture that person, provide them with any help they want to, and just fucking watch them just blossom through their passion. It's fucking cool to watch.
Yeah, it's very cool to watch. Love that.
I don't know, I spent a lot of time thinking.
So is this episode?
Yes.
Hey?
How inspo is this episode?
Behave. Like, I just like I said, I'm crazy. So that's why I'll come up with these things.
We're crazy too. We're with you.
Yeah. No, I think listening to people and like we said at the start, hearing stories, like, I'm going to take a lot from this conversation, right? Because I've heard stories of what you guys have been through, and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. Like, that's phenomenal how you've ended up punching that in the face and overcome it. And now you've created this out of it, and you're going that way and you want to go here. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. I'm going to keep going. You know what I mean? And like, just hearing stories, I think that's what life's about.
Yeah, well, that's why we all share our story, right? And that's what we said at the very start. Someone can relate to something in some shape, way, or form. And if someone can take something away from this, then amazing. That's our goal done, you know, for both of us, you and us.
100%. Like, some people, you know, it's hard sometimes, especially, I don't know about you ladies, but I'm extremely introverted. Like, that's one of my limitations is I would quite happily just be alone and never speak to anyone, which doesn't get anything done, right? And it doesn't help anyone. So I've got to be able to use that in a way to kind of spiral off and then help people. But like, people like myself would think of it as like, oh, maybe you're being cocky, you want the limelight and all that. It's like, no. There's a difference between cocky and confidence, and there's a difference between being confident to then help other people, right? I'm confident in there is some lessons laced within this story, so someone else can use that to get them through whatever they're currently going through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, you could look at being introverted as like not a failure, but it's probably something you've overthought quite a lot, but you're taking that and doing what you can with it and using it to your advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I've made 2 books out of it. You know, I sit down and get rather down in the dumps, and that's fine, but I write poetry. So, you know, that's come out of it, and it's, you know, you've got to be able to take the silver lining out of everything, right?
Exactly. And that's, I suppose, a big thing for Margo and I as well, is that, you know, we're in front of people a lot, and we're probably a mix of the two. Like, we do love our own time, but then we do love being in front of people. And
introverted extroverts.
Yeah, but a lot of our job is with people and in front of people. So it's definitely, it's very tiring because all the time we have to be on pretty much when you are in front of the people, and people have this assumption of what the Two Raw Sisters are like, and you know, then you kind of sometimes put pressure on yourself to be this certain person that, you know, this person's had a glimpse of before, and you don't want to let your followers or clients down. So yeah, we find that sometimes there's a lot of pressure on that, or if you're not feeling that good that day and you've got a workshop, and bringing yourself back up to a level that you feel suitable to be in front of people. So it's just balancing it and knowing when we do need our own time apart and taking it and not feeling guilty about it, so that we are, you know, our best possible selves when we are in front of people.
Honestly, like
big
obviously I don't know yous, right? Like we've never met, but you seem super authentic and genuine people. And I think if you're just going to be real every situation, whether you're tired or full of energy or whatever, you're just like real. You're just who you are.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be fucking fine. Right?
Yeah.
Everything will be fine.
I think
like
we appreciate our realness.
100%. Like, you know,
the reality.
Like we live in a fake world at the moment. Like it's kind of breaking. I see like a lot of people kind of just telling the truth now, which is kind of cool. You know, like we're doing now, like trying to bridge the gap between mental and physical health with the reason why this podcast exists. But like there's still a lot of fake out there, and being real actually sets you apart. It's fucking weird. Like you don't have to do anything apart from be who you are. Yeah, okay, granted, that's the hardest thing because you need to figure out who you are, and that's quite difficult. But if you're just real, right, just kind of live your life the way you want to live it and just say what you want to say, that sets you apart and ultimately gets you further.
Well, that's the thing. And like Margo and we've, I suppose, created Two Raw Sisters just being ourselves, and, you know, people love that side of it. And that's why we've created such a big following, is because people appreciate that. And we always get people coming up to us being like, oh my gosh, you're exactly as you come across on Instagram when I've met you in person. Like that's so, just so nice to have, because generally it's like this fake person on Instagram, and then you see them and they can't even come up and say hi to you.
Best compliment,
so
right?
It's just, yeah, exactly. And Margo and I really do pride ourselves in that, and the fact that we aren't trying to be anyone else. We're literally doing what we love doing. And it's real.
Or there's that question on how have you done so well? And it's like just doing what we love and being ourselves.
Yeah.
You should try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you can, like, you can't fake passion. You know, you look someone in their eyes and you can see whether they're passionate or not. You know what I mean? And it shines through. Like you clearly love what you do. I don't even need to hear that from you ladies. Like I'm like, okay, I just see what you've done. Yeah, okay. These ladies are doing what they need to do. You know, whether that changes or whatever, like it might do, but like they clearly love what they're doing, and it shines through. And you can, I don't know, it goes back to that sixth sense, and you can just tell when people are living like that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's always great to see, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It makes me happy with people doing what they love.
For sure. You just look at it, you're like, you know what? That's beautiful. Right there. Hats off. I'm not wearing a hat, but hats off.
Head off to you too.
Oh, appreciate it. I got 3 questions. I'm like obsessed with people's answers. I'm sure people are like kind of bored of hearing me ask these questions from now, but I'm obsessed with the answers. So I'm really interested to hear your ladies' answers on these. Number 1 is what's the greatest piece of life advice you've ever received?
Oh, greatest piece of life advice. Do what you love doing.
Ooh.
And don't give a shit about what anyone else thinks.
Beautiful.
Nice. Beautiful.
We're going to do one each. Otherwise we'll be here for another hour.
No problem. Number 2, what's the worst piece of life advice you ever received?
Oh, the worst piece of advice I've ever received. To do, gosh, this is a hard question.
quick. We're on a podcast.
What do you have any? I actually don't know what the worst piece of advice I've received.
I don't know if this is controversial or not, but people telling you to do something you don't want to do when it doesn't feel right within you, but they are telling you it's the right thing to do and they don't consider how you feel.
It's not controversial at all. You say whatever you want to say, man.
And what's right with it, because like we're saying, everybody's body is so different. And I think a lot of, for me, this particular incident was a health professional, telling me that there was one way to do things. And for me, that wasn't right, but he just kept saying it was the right thing.
Yeah.
Not considering everyone's beliefs and wants and needs and things like that.
Yeah,
that's why within Two Raw Sisters, we're like, well, we don't. If you eat meat, great. If you're highly against eating meat, awesome. We don't judge anyone. All eaters are welcome in here because everyone has their own beliefs in life, and I think there should be no judgment around any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating how little people can have a conversation with conflicting ideals and for it not to kind of resort into conflict. It's crazy.
I agree.
We're adults. Can we not come at it from two different sides and be like, hey ladies, you're seeing it from this side, but I'm only seeing it from this side. Can I understand your side and you're going to understand my side? And we're like, cool. We don't change each other's opinions, but now we're going to strengthen our own or see the other side or whatever. It's
sure.
I can't dictate how you live your life.
Exactly.
Last one, 3 words you tell your younger self.
3 words.
I love you.
Ooh. You're going to make me cry.
Nice.
Nice. Ladies, I really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks
Alex,
for having us.
It was fun. I loved it.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, just shooting the shit, right?
Exactly.
I am in the process of building out a studio. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get it done. And if I do, you're more than welcome to come back in person and grab some coffee, shoot the shit again.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that.
Love
That'd
to.
be fun.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
All right, mate. Take it easy.
You too. Bye.
See you later. Have a good day.
Rest of your week.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.